What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for tomorrow as we have the big CPI report coming out. So I'm going to show you what the expectations are, then draw out what may end up happening to NIO based off expectations, whether this thing is going to end up dropping even more, or can the expectations cause NIO to actually run to the absolute moon. I'm also going to talk about what the news is saying about NIO that's very huge, and what NIO put on their Twitter page. That's fantastic news in my opinion, and it just goes to show how incredible the company is despite the hardships they are facing. Now, before I break any of this down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of very important things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. And not only benefits me, but benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000, and you could always sell those 5 free stocks for cash and buy these dips on NIO for free. So this is a limited time offer to get your 5 free stocks. It ends tomorrow, so please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, we were down just a little bit, down about 0.81%, which is a pretty good sign. It shows that NIO is doing a lot better than before. We're not just like getting rug pulled for the entire day. We actually got a nice bounce. So I want to talk about what happened today. So in my previous video, I told you guys I expected NIO to drop a little bit more. I showed you guys the levels at which this thing would drop to based off support and resistance. And I told you guys in my previous video, I thought we would actually drop as low as that 12.5 range right over here. I expected a nice bounce off of that and a push up. And I predicted we'd end up closing around that. I predicted 13.25 to 13 flat range. That's what I predicted. I thought we would close around here. We ended up closing a little bit above where I predicted. So we did a little bit better, but we were still in the red. And what's interesting about NIO is when you look at the one-day chart, you could see we opened up with this gap. We pushed all the way down, got a bounce, and ended up closing kind of sideways. Look at the SPY. The SPY gapped up, dropped, bounced, closed kind of sideways, a bit of a drop after. This is the SPY, and let's go back to NIO. This is NIO. You can see there's that gap. They're very similar. It just goes to show that NIO is following the SPY, also the NASDAQ, and that's why this data I'm about to show you is going to affect NIO as it is kind of affected by this. So right here, an advisor sees the April CPI coming in a little bit lower than March. So if you don't know what this means, basically we have a CPI report every single month for the previous month. And what this means is that, look, we just finished the month of April. So the CPI numbers, the Consumer Price Index, which is one of the many inflationary measures that many economists and many investors use. Now, as an economist, I will tell you, and excuse me, as an economist, I'll tell you that CPI is not always going to be accurate. Sometimes it's going to overstate inflation. Sometimes it understates it. But here's the thing. Investors accept this. So because it's so accepted, this is what's going to dictate the market because so many people believe it's the real thing and they do have to go off of something. So one of the things we're seeing is lots of advisors think inflation or CPI is going to actually go down for the month of April. And as a result of that, right, we got 8.5% during the last report. That was back in, the report came out in April for the month of March. Now we're in May and we're getting the reports for the month of April, which just completed. So to make this simple, many analysts expect Wednesday's CPI, that's tomorrow, to show a sharp pullback in monthly growth, or inflation. Right here, the annual increase they expect is 8.1%. 8.1%, lower than the 8.5% that we got last time, which was the highest inflation or CPI report since December 1981. So it's expected to be 8.1%. Keep that number in your mind. Going right here, according to Forbes, we're seeing the same thing. Expectations are for all items rates to drop from 8.5 to 8.1%. This is how the reports are showing. We can see the big spikes from March, every single March. And as a result, we do expect a bit of a decline. That is what generally happens between March and April. So hopefully we do see a nice decline. Hopefully it's below that. And also the Fed's NIO Kashkari. I apologize if I said his name wrong. He's the Minneapolis Fed president. He stated that he's confident inflation is going to go down too. So a lot of big analysts, a lot of big investors, a lot of big officials are saying they think it's going to go down. So we'll have to see and understand how that's going to actually move out. Now, last thing I want to talk about is this right here. The Motley Fool is talking about the fact that things are doing very, very well right now for NIO because they are producing cars in a mass market brand style. And as they bring their brand up and they start scaling their business, they're going to actually kind of close the gaps in these prices, and the price range is also going to start to go down as we kind of continue. Now, it does not follow, how should I say, Tesla's footsteps perfectly, but it is definitely reflecting them, right? We're seeing very key development stages. So we're seeing some bullish articles starting to come out. Things are looking a lot better. So what does this mean for the market? Remember what I told you about inflation, okay? Remember that 8.1% is the expectation. So if we fall above expectations, that's not good. If inflation is higher than we expect it to be, or the accepted inflation, CPI, obviously the market's going to take a big hit. So if you see maybe like 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 9%, it's going to be very bad for the markets. The market's going to take a hit. If it's exactly 8.1%, it should be kind of good for the markets because it's showing a decline relative to the last report. And I think anything below 8% is going to be fantastic. The market is probably going to rally if that were the case. Now, let me draw this out for you as the three most probable situations that could end up playing out for NIO. Let me just draw this out real quick. So let me draw this out based off what could end up happening. Let me start off with the most bullish possibility. Let's say CPI comes out and it's really good. And there was a very strange candle at the very end. You guys see this? Let me actually show you this first before I show you that. But this is crazy. Check this out. Check out how weird this candle looks. At the very end, we got this giant candle. Not this candle, this wick. Sorry, we had this giant wick. Then it just dropped down and we ended up closing kind of red. That's interesting, right? A big buy order. Very strange, and just reflects the resistance level I was showing you. But anyways, let's get back on track. So where on earth is NIO going for tomorrow? Where may it end up going? I want to adjust my chart as efficiently as possible for you guys. Just bear with me here. So let's start off with this. So let's just say CPI data comes out, right? The inflationary measure. Let's just say that it ends up being, I want to change the color. So if it's good, that means that inflation is going to be down. What on earth is NIO going to do if inflation is lower than 8.1%? Let's draw this out as a possibility. If it's like 8%, I don't know, 7.9%, 7.6%, NIO is probably going to get a nice push in the opening, push all the way up to this 14.16 range, maybe a little bit higher. Then we're going to drop down kind of like this. And I think we're actually going to hold up a lot better than before. We may trade a little bit lower as we get to the later hours of the day by lunchtime. Get a nice bounce into closing. And I think we're going to end up with a pretty decent closing, probably around 14.1, 14.16. That's what could end up happening if the CPI data comes out and it's actually really good. Now, what if the CPI data comes out and meets expectations? How is NIO going to respond to that? Well, the whole market is going to be a lot better. So I'm going to make this white. Let's just change the color first. I have to do it like that to change the color. If it's at expectations, if the CPI reports at 8.1%, probably going to get another push like this, then get rejected, trade kind of sideways, drop down a little bit. It won't be that great. Hopefully we get a nice push. And then I expect us to maybe close kind of like this, maybe not as strongly. But it should be a pretty decent close. I would say maybe around 13.8, 13.75, very possible. Kind of like that. And then the last thing you're probably wondering, what if the CPI data comes out and it's really bad? Well, what if inflation or the CPI report is like 8.4%, 8.5%, 8.6%, It's not going to be pretty, in my opinion. So let me just pick this and show you. Using this, you could see what would happen is it's going to be reported right before the market opens, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We're probably going to drop like this if it's really bad. And we're probably going to get rug pulled pretty darn hard. It is possible for us to drop a little bit lower than that. And NIO would probably get hammered and end up closing at a very, very low level. It could close around the high 12s, $13 level. That's a possibility. We could get a big hit if inflation is that bad. And our low of the day could be even lower than where it was from today. We could see moves kind of like this. So I just wanted to paint this out for you. Wanted to just prepare you guys for this. Show you this as a possibility. And let you know that this is what you should be looking out for tomorrow. Now, even though there are going to be lots of tough times as we are seeing inflation so high, I'm still incredibly bullish for this company. I do believe that they're listing on different exchanges to address the delisting fears. I do believe they're going to persevere and try their very best to stay listed on the New York Stock Exchange. They're not going to necessarily get delisted. I also believe that right now things look not at the best of phases, but they are guaranteed to be on the stock market for many years to come. It's not like delisting is going to happen instantly. And I also believe that as time progresses, they're going to keep on improving their customer service, their quality. And we are seeing that they have incredible free quality assurance, roadside assistance, and car connectivity services for durable times for the vehicle's lifetime. So for me, amazing work. Their cars are fantastic. The company keeps on expanding. And as they go global and keep on growing, I'm going to remain bullish for the long term. So it's not the end of the world. There will be some red days. There will be tough times. But I believe this company has the potential to break past all-time highs. It just needs time. Give it the time it needs, and it will really show its potential. With that out of the way, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.